Hello, my name is Ethan Chazen. I'm a New York-based organization development coach. And what I do in my consulting practice, which I've had for the last 15 years, is I find and work with organizations, whether they're for-profit, not-for-profit, government agencies, doesn't matter to me. I work with them to unleash their people's untapped potential. And I typically do this one of three ways. I do employee training and development. I do executive leadership team coaching, whether it's one-on-one or team-based. And I also do business growth specifically through culture transformation. So why did I decide several years ago to shift my consulting focus to exclusively helping organizations build amazing workplace cultures? Well, it all goes back to when I spent 20 years in corporate America. My background is in marketing. I held a number of roles in various organizations, different cultures, different sizes. And I was always made to feel as if I was an asset, as if I was easily replaceable. And it didn't sit well with me. And then when I went out on my own in 2009 to start my own consulting practice, I initially was an executive coach. And so what I did was I tried to help as many individuals as I could align themselves through their values, their experiences, their career and professional development goals with organizations that were logical fits based on the individual and the organization's values. I realized after a few years into my consulting that as much as I loved the work, I could have an even more significant, pronounced effect on helping to shape the 21st century workforce by shifting over from the individual side, from the employee side, to the organization side. So that's what I've been doing over the last 6 or 7 years is organization development work. Today's video is meant to be intended for organizations that are interested in or have invested in building great places to work. Or maybe it's also helpful for those organizations that are considering how they can increase the impact of their workplace culture, especially post-COVID, when there seem to be all these claims that there's a war on talent and that millennial and Gen Z workers aren't as committed and loyal to organizations. So here we go. Here's my 35 years of experience distilled into a few actionable items in terms of why amazing people choose to come work for your organization, what about your organization is appealing to them, what makes them stay and commit to you, and what, if you're lacking, is a key reason why they leave. So the first thing that you should know about incredibly focused, intrinsically motivated employees who take great ownership of their own careers and professional development, they see that great workplace cultures, that great organizations value them, that they value their employees. And that is not something that you can accomplish through your marketing. It's reputational. You earn it as an organization day after day after day. It's how you choose to treat and invest in your people. And over time, as you strive to build and maintain that amazing culture by caring about your employees, the greatest talent will be drawn to you like moths to a flame. So that's the first thing that you should know about why great employees come seek out your organization, because you've demonstrated a consistent track record of caring about your employees. The second is because we know, I spent 10 years researching this. It's in my second book, The Compassionate Organization. We know it is a universal truism that organizations that create amazing pro-employee cultures, they always outperform financially their competitors. I mean, my research, I spent about a decade looking at over 200 countries, 7,000 organizations, nearly every industry sector, country market. The number one, number two top performing organizations always had tremendous workplace cultures. Employees therefore know that when you're more successful as an organization by focusing on your people first, as opposed to strategy and operations, they are going to derive benefit, the employees, from greater career and professional development opportunities because your organization will sustain growth, sustain success, and be competitive far beyond your competition when you create a great workplace culture. So these are people, again, who are top talent, they are intrinsically motivated, and they're focused on their own career and professional development. They also know that working for an organization that has a great reputation, a great culture, it's going to be more rewarding for them. They are going to be given more autonomy and control. They'll be allowed to make decisions. You will solicit their ideas. You will fund their ideas. They'll receive more reward and recognition. They'll receive more coaching and mentoring. They'll have formal succession plans and career development plans in place because your organization is known for doing that. That's what world-class organization cultures do. And therefore, those are some of the benefits that reward your top employees who have made a strategic career rationale for coming to seek out your organization as a preferred workplace employer. Also, you share their values. I cannot overstate or overemphasize the importance of this, right? So there's a relationship that happens between employees and employers. It used to be called the employee-employer contract, although in the 20th century, with the command control pyramid-shaped structure, it was employees being subservient to employers, having no say, having no voice, no influence, no control, no value. They were deemed to be essentially assets that could be discarded. In amazing workplace cultures, your organization doesn't just give lip service to your core values, you live them. Your values are infused in your strategic planning processes, in your operations. You know, one of the things I do with my clients when we plan out values into business operations is we take your core 4 or 5, let's say, values, and we rotate on a weekly basis. Okay, if one of your values is collaboration, every employee in every team in every location that week is going to have agenda item number 1 on their team meetings be how can we have actual bona fide ways to work more collaboratively. It's infused into day in, day out actions of employees. And by the way, that's actually what culture is. You may have heard all these different definitions which abound about culture. Organizational culture is how your people act and engage day in, day out. So there are rewards for employees who have certain values that you've demonstrated, whether you're Tom Shoes or Subaru or Patagonia or Disney or Marriott or Pixar. It doesn't matter. Your organization will, if you live your values, become known for your values, and employees who share your values will seek those out. When you build an amazing workplace culture and you infuse all of these dynamics into your talent acquisition, talent retention, you make it part of your interviewing processes, you implement more behavioral interviewing where you ask people to demonstrate their values and background and experience through prior work that matches what you'll need from them. When you build a culture that is truly comprised of these amazing rock star superhero employees, what will be appealing to them as they consider joining your organization is they'll hear word of mouth. Your reputation will go viral in terms of your current employees, past employees, their friends, their family members who work there have said, come on board, you're a great employee. I'd like to bring you into Google or Microsoft or Zynga or wherever that great workplace is. So they want to seek out an organization whose culture is filled with people who are other superheroes in their Marvel Comics or DC Comics analogy universe. It's about the work. It's about the work for them and having control. You know, Daniel Pink, great TED Talk, go check it out. He talks about autonomy that employees have as measured in 4 key areas. Do your people get to choose what work they do, who they do it with, where they do their work, and how they get the work done when they do it? So those four key considerations, you can literally ask each and every one of your employees by department, by manager, across the whole organization. 4 questions, those 4 questions on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is low, 10 is high. How much autonomy, control, voice, say do you have over your work? 1 is almost none, 10 is complete. If an employee on those 4 questions gives you a 1 on each of them, that's a 4. That's danger. That means your organization is toxic and dead. If they rate you a maximum score 10 on each of those 4 questions, you'll get a high score of 40, and that tells you your organization is world class. This is something you could do tomorrow. You could start evaluating how people feel about the amount of control they have over work. You see, that command control that served us well during the post-industrial and manufacturing era, where it was all about organizations having operational efficiency, control, cost reduction, employees abrogating or giving over control over themselves and their authentic selves when they came to work for you. They subjugated themselves, they genuflected on the shrine of your workplace location. That's dead. That's dead in the 21st century. How do we know this? Take a look at the recomposition of the American workforce in terms of generations. We know that every day boomers and matures are leaving the workforce willingly or not so willingly by the thousands, if not tens of thousands. We know the fastest growing segments of the 5-generation American workforce are Gen Zs, born between 1996 and 2010, and millennials born between 1980 and 1996. So they have a whole different set of expectations, experience, and desires in their relationship with employers. Also, employees will seek out your amazing workplace culture because, as I said, they're intrinsically motivated, they're driven. They're already driving themselves to success. They've proven it throughout their careers, whether they're fresh out of college or they're in their 50s, doesn't matter. They have demonstrated a consistent body of work of being valuing taking control over their own career journey, their own professional narrative arc. Therefore, when they come to work for you, they know where they stand. They know where they stand in terms of you live your values, you're consistent in your culture, you put your people first. Your people are not just, you use a word, a throwaway line like our people are our greatest asset, which is, by the way, offensive. And we know this because of the mindset of Gandhi, who said it is beneath human dignity to treat people as if they're a cog in the machine. So people who are self-actualized, people who are self-motivated, they'll come to work for you because they know your values. You exhibit your values in terms of the communities in which your businesses operate. People who work there, your employees, are your #1 brand ambassadors, raving fans, because they advocate for you, because they bought into they're drinking the Kool-Aid of an amazing workplace culture. And so other people who get wind of your reputational brand, they know where they would stand. Communication in world-class organizations is constant. It flows always in a 365-degree range from up and down. In fact, there isn't that much up and down because they've gone from pyramid command control structures to more matrix flat organizations with less bureaucracy and administrative levels of hierarchical reporting. But they know the communication goes up and down, it goes constantly across, and it goes in and out. So they know where they stand in terms of communication. They have control over their work. Their ideas matter. You fund their ideas to come up with new products or services to drive new revenue and reduce cost. They have clear guidance. In fact, the world-class organizations like the one I just interviewed on one of my playlists, Chasing the Dream in season two, the son of the founder of Morningstar, Chris Ruffer, came on and talked about a world-class organization, $1 billion in revenue, 500 employees full-time, 1,500 seasonal. They have no job titles. There's no hierarchy. There's no reporting. People from the moment they interview at a company like Morningstar are engaged in a culture of flat matrix, constant communication, ownership and control of your career and your work. And people, therefore, are not managers. There's no such thing as managers at places like Morningstar because employees are hired who are rock stars. They've demonstrated already degrees of success throughout their careers. They've demonstrated a track record of willingness and desire. to be intrinsically motivated. And then they don't have to report to anybody when they come work in your great culture because they have nothing but peers. NBP, nothing but peers. There's no managers, there's no reporting structure, there's no giving up control of oneself. They're fully empowered from day one to make a difference. So they know where they stand. And the most amazing workplace cultures actually have ESOPs where employees have either partial to full control, employee stock ownership planning programs where they have a partial to all control of the organization. They own it. Talk about blood, sweat, and tears equity. They have complete skin in the game because they're an owner. There's no pyramid shape with at the top, the command control with the C-suite and middle management. That's dead. That's the vestige of an industrial era that doesn't exist in the 21st century. So what does this mean for you and your organization in terms of building a great culture, maintaining a great culture? Here's how this plays out. And I want to be very specific about this. In an organization that has an amazing culture, you will still come up with challenges. You'll still be hit out of seemingly left field by these unanticipated, perhaps global phenomenon that are outside of your control, like COVID, like a global pandemic, like competitors who introduce into your industry or sector leapfrog technologies, like significant transformation in technology, like AI and ChatGPT, for example, like supply chain issues, like shifting landscape and consumer preferences, right? The unexpected is expected. How do we plan for that? You got three levers you can pull, right? Your strategy, which the whole point of doing a strategic plan is not that you follow it with dogma without migrating away from it as things happen. You plan every year to learn from the planning process. But on day one of the new year, you're ready to leave your strategy. Operations, we've become as operationally efficient as I think we can be. We're always figuring out how to be a little bit more. But the only true lasting competitive advantage is gained from pulling the third lever. Third lever is your people initiatives. If you wish to build and maintain an organization that outperforms your competitors, that you don't have to worry about, well, if we make, from a financial perspective, if we make our months, we make our quarters. If we make our quarters, we make our years. That shit is dead. Let me say that in potty language again. That shit is dead. There's no such thing in world-class organizations as achieving shareholder value, even for publicly traded companies, because that's a lagging indicator of financial performance. If you shift your culture and transform it to be truly people-centric, your financial performance will, talk about factors of, 2x or 5x. How about 100x? How about 200x on an annual basis? Why? Because the people in your organization, your people who work together, who are closest to the work, who are closest to your clients, are the ones that can do it most effectively. Your people, if you have an amazing culture, will perform and therefore produce the highest levels, which will then maximize profitability. And then you'll shift your mindset. This is when I talk about organizational transformation from a culture perspective. You shift from shareholder value to stakeholder value. What's a stakeholder? A stakeholder is any collective set of individuals who interact with your organization, inside or outside. And so typically we talk about the two most powerful, which is your employees first, your clients second, members of the media, government regulatory agencies, community engagement organizations, all of those ancillary groups, vendors, suppliers, contractors, all those groups of people, but shift from shareholder value, which is constantly maximizing monetary value, which, by the way, led to 40 plus years ago, the initial onset of massive downsizing, offshoring, re-engineering, employee reduction in force, which started a trend towards incredible toxic destruction of workplace culture. Get ahead of it. So I hope you found today's video a little bit enlightening about the key reasons why all of the most amazing employees will hear about your organization. They'll be drawn to it. They'll be desirous of coming to work for you. They'll commit to you. They'll bring other people in who are similarly amazing, and they'll stay with you. All because you, day in and day out, over the years and over the decades, shift your model from profitability to sustained excellence through your people. Please, please, please help me out. I'm trying to proselytize the word of organizations achieving great cultures. Smash the subscribe button, share this video, repost it, give me some comments below and let me know what you think of it. I'd love to know what you think about this idea of why amazing people choose your organization or they don't, why they come work for you, and what it is about your organization that makes them stay and stay committed to you. Thank you.